A side and the B side, they have to understand each other to communicate better. They're gonna have to understand each other's to make business, because that way they can actually find some point that they are both are going to like. They are both not going to lose anything from this trade. So yeah, that affects a lot. And like, I watched a video about this because I would like to add some precautions before I joined, because I didn't actually know what I'm gonna show up with. I was not sure. I was just trying to do my best because I don't want to let down Sarah. And there was this video. These two countries, they don't like each other's, and like when they're trying to make a trade, when they're trying to make a business, they go hard on each other's, like harsh on each other's. And not just the trade between the countries, like the first example, if you are living in there, they're gonna have some how do you call that? I have no idea how to call that, but they're not gonna like you. That's the truth. And like, for example, you are in the Mexico, you are living in the Mexico, and let's be honest, I'm not going to be racist, but USA doesn't like Mexicans. That's the point. That's a fact. That's not because you are like less human than them. That's not because you are less educated than them, but they are just so used to it. So you have to go, you have to make yourself, you have to make a difference. You have to show them that you are not some losers, you are not some murderers, you are not some cartel, because they think that way. For example, before I went to Mexico, people thought like we use camels in Turkey, we are in the desert, and like that was actually so weird. Like, we speak Arabic and all that. That's not true. Just like I didn't know that Mexico was in the desert, just pulling out revolvers each other's. Yeah, I mean, that's weird, because that's how Hollywood and the other companies show it. So you have to get in touch, you have to meet each other's, you have to know each other's, you have to know what their plans, how bright they are, how bright they actually are, and how can you use that. So that's the argument. So I'm actually so excited. So if you have any questions, it will be better for us to continue.
Yes, thank you so much. I think what you have shared with us so far is really, really interesting, and I really, truly appreciate you being here. Maybe something that I would like to ask, Sarah, you don't have questions prepared, right? Okay, all right. Something that I would like to ask then, if that's okay with you, Berkay,
Sure.
is Sarah tells me there are two things. First, help us understand, so we also take all these prejudgments that you were talking about,
Yes.
and these false ideas that we get, because just like you mentioned, Hollywood shows Mexico in one way, which is not true because you have lived here. But I think the same we may believe about people in Istanbul, you know? And I don't want to sound like I want to excuse myself, or I want to say, but this is maybe what we see in the media, not only in the movies, but also in the YouTube videos, in the TikToks, you know? But maybe a lot of this is not even real. How would you describe a regular, normal day in a culture in Istanbul? And be careful here also, students. Berkay is going to be talking about the life in the city. Istanbul is a big city. I would like you to tell us a little bit about Istanbul. And also, maybe the life in some other areas, in the towns, in the villages, or it's just like here in Mexico. It's not the same Pátzcuaro or Uruapan than Morelia. But if you could help us understand first, that's the first question. What is a regular, normal day for somebody like you in Istanbul? That's question number one. And question number two, if you could also share with us, you have had the opportunity to travel. So my second question has to do with the fact.
Sorry, I couldn't understand clearly.
Yes, don't worry. You have had the opportunity to travel. You have traveled. You have been outside of your country. My second question is, the people from Istanbul or from Turkey, from your country, who do not travel, okay, do they also share these ideas about Mexico, for example, and etc.? How did your, as you were saying, you totally changed your idea about Mexico when you lived here. But I would like to know, for example, if we were to do business with a person from Turkey who has never had the chance to travel, is this person going to have this idea about we Mexicans, and maybe what can we do to make them feel more at ease when doing business with people who may have a wrong idea about a Mexican person? So let's go to the first one, describing the life in Istanbul. Would that be okay?
Yes, sure.
All right, go ahead.
I think you want. So, life in Istanbul is a little bit complicated because, like, early 50s, 60s, and 70s, and all that, all these years, people used to think Istanbul is a big city. Istanbul has opportunities to make money. So we have to go there instead of staying in the village so we can have a better life. So when they came here, like everybody came, you know. Turkey has about 80 million population, and about 20 million of it lives in Istanbul. That's crowded. And I mean, it's a little bit hard because, like, there are a lot of cars in the traffic, a lot. Like, you cannot go to your home from your business place like before 1 hour. It's so crowded because everyone goes to work at 8 a.m. Everyone goes back to home at 5 or 6 a.m. Like, everyone moving at the same time. That's not gonna work because we don't have the roads, like not for 5 or 6 lanes. So that's gonna have a big trouble. That's gonna be a big trouble for you. And it depends on your age. It depends on your wealth to have a day in Istanbul. Because if you are like teenager, more like a 15, 16, 20, that that ages, you don't really have much to think about. You just go around, drink, I don't know, like just go around with your friends. You don't have much to do, especially in the virus thing, you know. You actually have nothing to do because you cannot go to some workplace because they don't hire a lot of people. You cannot go to universities. You cannot go to high schools because they're closed. And all you can do is to meet your friends, go at some coffee, like get your laptops, join the class, go do nothing, like literally nothing. I'm so sorry, literally nothing. Then go your home, eat, sleep, wake up. It's just the same every day. But for the ones who are older, that's a little bit more harder because they have to work, because the salary, the minimum wage here is pretty low, like lower than the minimum wage has to be, a lot lower. So they have to work hard to produce money, to produce food for their home. So they have a lot to think about, like a lot. I appreciate my family. They do their best. It takes a lot. So like if you were not in the coronavirus and like we didn't have school, like in the summertime, an average person like me would just wake up in the morning, get some breakfast, which we have a rich breakfast, like a lot of things on the table. That's kind of weird for other countries. They don't see that like normal because we eat a lot. So after, most of the young people just play games, and the ones that don't, they go out. They just go around and around and around because there's literally nothing to do here. nothing, and it's so crowded. Like I tell you, I cannot tell you anything more than that. That's the thing about it.
When you say game, are you talking about like playing
Yeah, video
sports?
games.
Oh, video games. Oh, I
Uh-huh.
thought it was sports.
Well, there are some places. Since Istanbul is so crowded, so crowded, it's full of buildings. Um, I used to live in that house that was at the 23rd floor. And when I look from the balcony, I promise you, I cannot see one single tree. That's the greatest cons about living in Istanbul. Like only in the road, the barriers, there are some trees. That's all. That's it. And universities, maybe, yeah, they have trees. That's something. And like most of the part of Istanbul is, like I said, just buildings. But the thing is, Istanbul is so big. Istanbul is so big. And so there are some places look like towns, but actually in Istanbul. So what we do with my friends is go there, camp a few days, and then come back, because that's the best thing we could do. Because air pollution, all that, it just kills you inside. You just don't have the power to do anything. Except that, the second question, wait, what was it about?
Yes, I will repeat it. Don't worry.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
worry. I will repeat it in a minute. But before we go to the second question, which I will repeat in a minute, could you tell us then about this pollution thing? First of all, this is amazing because from what you're describing, I can imagine Istanbul being a little bit like Mexico City.
kind
However,
of.
Mexico City changed about 15 years ago, almost when I left Mexico City 15 years ago. Now they're trying to be more careful with the green part and having trees and having parks, and now it's a very nice city, Mexico City. However, what you're describing, you're talking about pollution, for example. You're talking about the fact that you open a window and you can only you do not see any green thing. So I imagine, of course, it's a very modern city, and I imagine you have all the technology, etc. However, this part about not having trees and etc. that catches my attention. I think
Yes.
I never imagined that. Anyway, the second question was,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
Like about the thing you said, can I continue to the first question, please? Sorry, I just remember something, recall some things. So, like I said, Istanbul is a great city, like big city, and it's also called Seven Hills because there are 7 hills, like great hills, which have actually trees, but they are so far away you cannot just like accept them to uh, expect them to clean the air, because it's so far away, and like it's all dust in the roads because of the I don't know, the aluminum and all that elements from the cars and all that. It's polite. I don't know if is that a true word. So people also are not educated. That's the biggest problem. Like every day, every single day, I get a crisis about the uneducated people because it's everywhere. For example, about the traditions. Um, I don't know if I should talk about it. Maybe you can stop me if I tell something wrong. But for example, families don't want their girls to give their virginity before they get married, for example. And because of that, in the past, they used to limit them a lot, limit the girls a lot. Like they shouldn't go to school after some time. They shouldn't, I don't know, go out with friends. That's not, what's the word? That's not right. And it just goes along and along, because if your family does that to you, oh, you think that's the right way to raise a kid, so you raise your kid that way. I mean, okay, it's their decision, it might be good on your side or bad on your side about the original thing, marrying thing, and all that. But the thing is, why would you not let them just go to school? Why would you not let them go out? That's not your item. That's not an item. Your daughter is not your item. That's a fact. And people, like some people, don't see that. They think they're the best. They think they are the superior. And that affects a lot. These people are the same people with the, I don't know, murderers. I don't know, the guy you see that has a trash in his head, but there's a trash can, but he just throws it away. I mean, why would you do that? Why the hell? What makes you do that? I mean, there are people who cleans it, and you don't have to be that rude. Like, even just in that site, you don't have to be rude. You are living in there. Like, would you like to see trash, like, walking around your rooms in your home? No. Why would you do it in the street? So,
I
also,
think, Berkay, what you're mentioning, it's so important. Two things. First, the similarity we have with the traditional way to see women in a family. I think more and more, you were an exchange student here with us in Mexico.
yes,
Yes. And maybe 20 years ago, 25, 30 years ago, it was more obvious that women, again, same happened. We still have a lot of families that are very traditional. And we also have the same that you have, or maybe that you see in Istanbul. But from what I understand, it's much more. Uh, there's no equity between males and females yet.
most of the time.
So yeah, that's actually very interesting for us to know. That's the first thing. And the second thing that I believe it's very interesting that you're mentioning has to do with the education of people. As you mentioned, that this I think sounds very similar to also what we have here. We also have people throwing garbage out on the street, but believe it or not, over the years, this is little by little becoming less and less of a problem. More people are aware of this part of not throwing the garbage out on the street, but still we have the problem. But from what I understand, in Istanbul, this is still a big problem, like the non-educated people being rude to other people, not being educated, or being disrespectful in many ways, if that's what I understand well. I don't know if you could go to our second questions because also after the answering the second question, which I will repeat, I would like the students to ask you questions. Okay, I've been participating a lot. I would like my students now to have questions ready for you. And the second question had to do, Berkay, with if we were going to do business with a person from Turkey, but this person never had the chance to travel, he may have this idea of Mexicans that may affect our business relationship. What recommendations would you give us in order to make it easier for us to do business with person or people from Turkey who maybe are not so international? You know, how would you recommend us to approach these people? Thank you.
Okay. So this is the question I've been waiting for because that's the point that I worked harder on. So I did some researches. I don't know that Turkey and Mexico were that close because, people just don't travel that far away. Actually, they don't travel at all, but not that far away. That's impossible. We have like 12,000 kilometers. And I found out that we actually have some real good business things. Like, I mean, I was shocked. I was literally shocked. There are a lot of things going on. Like, in that earthquake in Turkey, you have sent us help. In that earthquake in Mexico, we have sent you help. And I mean, I was just reading them on my computer and I was about to cry. It was so amazing for me. I just didn't know that. It's so far away. How? And I found out that our governments were a little bit close. I mean, they at least used to see each other's and all that. That actually touched me because I didn't know. I really didn't. So the thing is, there are people who knows about Mexico, like actually know about Mexico. So, and there are foundations that like Mexican Turkish cooperation, blah blah. I cannot recall right now. So first things, you can just go with them, talk to them, meet them, and ask for them to help, like who to contact, how to contact, and like if the two sides would like each other and all that, because they basically are there for this. And about the question that you asked, like how people in Turkey that doesn't know Mexico thinks about Mexico, it's literally the thing that I told you. Like they also think the Mexico is on the desert. They kill each other. They sell drugs and all that. Like when I came back to Turkey and some people heard that I've been to Mexico and they were asking me like, "Oh shit, sorry for the language. Uh, I'm out. uh, did you see anyone get killed? Were you in the desert? Did you see a lot of cactuses? Where were you living? You were always eating taco. Were they always drunk? Did they carry guns?" And I mean, no, they are just like actually that's the point. We actually are so similar. Like I can promise you that we are actually way too similar than we think. And it kind of amazed me more to learn about your culture as well. So that also might be because the Ottoman Empire was in Spain. Like they took over Spain, and like later Spain went to Mexico, to Aztecs, if I'm right. So they actually share some culture as well. We have some things in common. For example, if someone from my country would have said that, I would just laugh it off. I would just go away, just go away, shut up, go away. But the thing is, a Mexican told me that we have donar, if you know. It's like taco, but it's a little bit bigger. It's a little bit larger. So she told me that taco was brought from Ottomans to Spain as a donar, and then Spain brought it to Mexico as taco. I was a little bit surprised. I mean, it's possible, but I really don't know because you never know. And things like that, I think it binds us together. Oh, I'm way too off the topic. Back to the topic. Yes, people think that you are not like you are. And the thing is, again, we are too similar. As the cities, we have towns, you have towns that looks a lot like each other. We have Mexico City and we have Istanbul. They actually look a lot like each other. Just the thing that in Istanbul, you can see the grade. You can see the class. I don't know if you are understanding what I'm talking about because I'm not. The thing is, you can see skyscrapers at like 10 meters away from you at your right side, and then there are some like not. I don't even want to call them house. You can see it that clear. So just in some parts, Istanbul is amazingly, amazingly like it's a great city. But in some parts, you know, you're gonna get stabbed or get your wallet stolen. And Mexico City is more like high buildings everywhere, but here is a little bit more mixed.
Berkay, because our time is almost going to be up.
Yes, I'm
But
sorry.
I would
I'm
like,
going to run.
no. I'm so glad, and I wish we could be here for hours. But also, we have to be respectful to your time. And
Yes.
first of all, we really and truly appreciate the time you're taking to share this with us, because there's no way we can learn this in books. There's no way we can learn this in a paper. There's no way we can learn this sometimes by watching a movie or anything. So we truly and really appreciate the time you're spending with us. I'm going to now ask you, guys, I know you may have some questions. I need to see your hands. For those of you who have, yes, microphones, in case you have questions, I will go to Grant so you can ask one question, and then I'll go to Elisa for another question. Grant, do you have questions?
Yeah, I do. I noticed Misha commented first in the chat that she has it. So if she wants to go first, I don't wanna beat her, you know.
I couldn't
That's okay.
understand.
That's okay. That's okay. But Grant, I don't know if you have a question. I'll go to Mish in a minute. Don't worry. I just want to know, do you have a question, Grant?
Yeah, I was just curious. So I have a friend, he was working last year for a while in Turkey and Greece with like all the Syrian refugees that were coming through there. So I was just wondering if you've seen like a big influx of refugees migrating and stuff on both like with Turkey as a final destination or migrating through to try to get to the European Union.
That's actually a very good question. It's about refugees. And if you see a lot of refugees trying to pass through your country on their way to Europe, or that's actually a very good question. Very good, Grant. Thank you.
Thank you for your question, and nice to meet you. That's a lot big of a problem here, because our government is a little bit tricky. They don't care about the nation, they don't care about the country, they just care about their pockets, that's it. And when they take in the refugees into Turkey, they were thinking that European Union was going to give us money because we're going to take care of them and they're going to pay.
They take them all, like all the refugees. Just some of them went to Europe, but most of them are here because our government is taking a lot care of them. For example, there's this Syrian student who is gonna get to university.
I'm sorry. I think your headphone got disconnected because we cannot hear you very well. Can you just make sure your headphones are well connected?
Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry,
Thank you. Now we can hear you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Our government is having a lot more supports for the Syrians. For example, if you are Turkish man or woman, if you're Turkish and you have to take an exam to go to university, and they don't have to. They just go apply, they're accepted. But you have to work a lot, because there are like at least 2 or 3 million students each year getting to university, at least for the 3 years. And they are gonna have to be like minimum in the first 100,000 or 200,000, because there are no good universities after 2,000, you know, it's 200,000, sorry. So they are a lot more supported by the government from us than us, sorry. And it's actually affecting our culture as well, because when I go to streets, when I go out, like I cannot see any more Turkish signs on shops, on cafes, on anything. It's a lot like more Arabic everywhere. And I mean, think about it. Like, think about French going to Mexico, and after some time, you just start to see some French signs everywhere, more than the Turkish ones. Even on the road, you're going somewhere on your way. Some tabelas, some signs have just Arabic, and it's just weird, because okay, you are a refugee. I understand you are running from a war, and that's not easy for you too. I get it. I'm not racist. Come on. live here, but I mean, be polite to this country, and at least just don't make it worse. It's already burning down. Don't make it worse. Like most of the people from Syria has their own townies, like ghettos, you know, and in those places, it's so filthy everywhere. Like they don't care about anything. They are actually so filthy. And at the first times they were coming to Turkey, we actually had a lot of like girls murdered, a lot of girls like I'm sorry, raped, and it was by the Syrians. But I mean that drove us crazy. Like it was going to be an inside war. So of course there are some refugees who are like, I don't know, scientists, I don't know, like doctors. They do not want to live here because they see this country is going down. They might want to go to Greece. They might want to go to, I don't know, Bulgaria, because they're going to have a better life, because they're educated. They can do a difference. They can make a difference. But the thing is, European...
Yes, good. Sorry. No, go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
I was just about to finish. Because most of the European countries don't want them, because they are doing the same thing they do in Turkey, in their countries. Like our country is not that disciplined like Germany. Germans have like best of discipline, you know. And of course they're not gonna want Syrians in there. Of course they are not. They're not gonna want Turkish people in there, because we are filthy in there. I promise you, they hate us.
I think what you just shared with us, it's amazing, because it is very hard for us sometimes to be locked in our little bubble here and worried about what's going on in our lives. That sometimes it is very hard for us to place ourselves in such a situation like the one you're describing, Berkay. I know Elisa had a question, Paola, Bernard, Michelle, and Gil. So I'm going to go, and I don't know if you have time, Berkay, because we may have to ask you to stay a little bit longer with us, if that's okay with you. Okay,
yeah,
thank you. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. So I'll go in the order as I have. First, I'll go to Michelle. Let me just confirm. Michelle, then I'll go to Paola, and then I'll go to Gil, and I'm going to leave you until the end, Elisa. I am so sorry. Okay, all right. So Michelle, ask your question, please.
Okay, hi.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. You say it's a big city, and for me, a big city means a magnificent architecture. And my question goes towards whether there is a clash with new buildings compared, for example, to cathedrals as Hagia Sophia, and whether older people opposed to that change. In the media, they show us that Istanbul is like an ancient city without new architecture, and adults without wanting to ruin their city, like between quotes. Is this true?
Kind
Let
of,
me see. Yes.
Okay, sorry, continue.
Did you understand the question, Berkay? Is that okay? Was that clear?
Yeah, I think so. The thing is, it's all about the government. Like anything you ask me, I'm going to blame government for it, because that's the only reason, I promise you. So they opened the Hagia Sophia as a mosque, because they use religion in my country. They use it so well. I mean, you like better than the Christians in the, you know, that there was this old
like places from heaven, you know. We are.
And your microphone again. We lost you. Your microphone. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Sorry. I don't know if you've heard me, but you know, the Christians used to sell places from heaven for the war. We are using even better. Like that's nothing. Because like there are some people who works in the government, and they just go out on the TVs and talk about it like our president right now, was sent us by the God, and he is like Jesus. I don't know what the title is, he's like Jesus, he's here to help us and all that. That's ridiculous. I mean, I don't believe in a God, sorry, but even if I would believe in a God, that's ridiculous. That doesn't mean anything. I mean, he's stealing, he's making cows, he's burning down trees so they can make hotels. No, God didn't send him. Like, totally not. But the thing is, they are not accepting that they are losers. They are not accepting that they are wrong. Because, yeah, you have been voting him for a lot of years. You have supported him. You have made arguments. You have made fights. You have, I don't know, like, did anything and everything just to protect them, just to support them. And you can just go out someday, say that, no, they are the bad choice. Because you cannot be wrong. And the thing is, if you keep doing that, if you cannot understand you are doing something wrong, no, we are going down. And back to your question, like in the original place, they have this class difference a lot, like you said. It's just like New York, but less skyscrapers, less, I don't know, modern streets. By the way, I have to charge my phone, I guess. Just in a 5
Don't
minutes.
worry. Don't worry. Okay, we're losing your battery. Thank you, Berkay. Don't worry. If we don't have time to ask of your questions, don't worry. Maybe we can send the questions to Sarah, or maybe we can invite you over to come back, because I think this conversation has been wonderful. And maybe if it's okay with you, we're going to check our schedule. We hope we're not bothering you, because we know you're a student and you have tests also. But if that's okay. No, not really. Okay, Sarah, maybe we can talk about this, and maybe he can join us again on the last week of November. And just make sure, everybody, you write down your questions, because I know we have questions from Gil, from Paola, from Elisa. And don't worry, if your cell phone is about to is about to be turned off. I just want to tell you, Berkay, how much we really and truly appreciate you sharing your vision and your perspective with us. I think this has been so interesting in so many levels that I really want to thank you in behalf of all our students we have here. Yes, I know. Let's give him a hand, please, because I think it's been wonderful. And I really hope, Sarah, that we can have Berkay come over again, maybe towards the end of the month. If that's okay with you, Berkay?
That will be amazing for me.
We would love to keep hearing your opinion and your vision in so many topics. So everybody, make sure you have your questions written down. And Sarah, is there anything else you would like to mention?
I think not, Ala.
By the way, did I answer your question well, or you have anything else?
Oh, you did a wonderful job. I think you're answering not only our questions, you're giving us a beautiful and wonderful perspective of a world that might seem so different to ours, but which is actually so similar to ours in so many ways. So I believe, Berkay, your participation has been wonderful. And I am sorry. I think every guest that we have had in this class always brings something to our knowledge, etc. But in your case, this has been wonderful. You have no idea how much you're helping us understand. We have a lot of students from international relations, international trade, marketing, architecture, management. It is very interesting what you're sharing with us, really. It not only helps us to be future better professionals, but to be better global citizens in the future. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
So
and I really
anything
would like
else
to
that
join
you would
again
like to say?
if you can. And also, just a maybe. I don't want to go harsh, but if you're taking like other students like from other countries, if it's okay for you, like that's gonna be bad for you, I would like to join and listen as well, if it's okay.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Sarah, let's make sure we share then the links with Berkay for our guests. We will have next Tuesday, we're having somebody from Ecuador. So I'm so glad you speak Spanish because he will be presenting in Spanish. And we also will have somebody from France. Am I right, Erika? That's going to be next Tuesday. And then on Thursday, the 19th, we'll have my brother who will be presenting in English. He lives in the United States and he works for Amazon. So he'll be talking about international management and leadership, how to be the boss of people from different countries. So yes, you're welcome to join us, Berkay, anytime.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
I really
Let's
appreciate it.
Berkay a hand again. This was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
And now you can disconnect, Berkay, because I know your cell phone is about to be, it's about to,
I'm really sorry.
It's about to die. So thank you, and we'll be in touch. We'll see you again towards.
Have a good day.
Yep.
And a good
Thank
class.
you. Thank you. Bye-bye.